14-year NFL vet, Shane Matthews, every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. It is a live edition of Tuesday International Studios, locations across the state of Florida, right there in the celebration part of Gator Nation. Swing on by, pick out the at International Diamond Center. Today's program will have Buddy Martin from the Buddy Martin Show, Gator Based Media, and then we'll have my portion from the if you missed it, Aaron Philo has been named starting quarterback for the Florida Gators. Give us your thoughts today as we go to the Titans hotline here for the one and the only Buddy Martin. Good morning, buddy. How are you?
Good morning, Shane. I'm doing fine. Florida's got a starting quarterback now. We get it on. I'm ready to start the season, and I think it was the right choice. And I know you do too. You've been saying the whole time you thought that would be the guy. And I think Philo is the guy until he's not.
That is true. I talked to a lot of people. Philo signed with the Gators in the state of Georgia. Highly acclaimed kid coming out of high school. A lot of coaches like him. As Gator Josh says from my mama on the Titan Mar text line, he wishes Gator Nation didn't complain so much. Trust the coaches, trust the process, until proven you can't. That hasn't been proven. Let's go win some games. That's what I said from day one. From day, but everybody has opinions, right? Regardless if it's sports, politics, you name it.
Yes.
But for anyone to sit here and question John Summerall, who's had a pretty good track record as a head coach, but to question Buster Faulkner, who has a tremendous track record as quarterback, again, was the offensive coordinator of the year, voted on last year. Trust them. Let's see what happens, and let's go play some ball games. Just give me your overall thoughts on that, buddy.
Yeah, well, I think is what you said is
has
true.
a path for you, including our pre-nursing associates or prerequisites. Prepare for your nursing career with online courses in preparation for your 16-month BSN. Find your purpose at
Did you say you can really trust with your life?
/ABSN.
And I heard Reverend Charles Stanley preach about this the other day. Most people think you're lucky if they can count them on one hand. If you got three people you can trust. Now, I think this is what we're looking for. It's a key word for Gator fans. They've got to learn how to trust. After all, they've been burned by the last couple of guys. It's been a while now since they started winning. They ain't making no more Shane Matthews up there. And we will see whether or not this is the right guy. I think it is. You think it is. We think it is. But we got to build that trust, as you say, Shane. You got to learn to trust. I think we've got guys up there now, including Summerall and Buster, who we can trust, and hopefully we'll find out whether we can trust Philo.
Yeah, I think he'll have a really good year. So anyway, as UF Gator says on YouTube, people are going too deep on this QB decision. It's not that complicated and subject to change. That's true. But I said from day one, it's common sense. A guy who recruited the guy, a guy who had him starting at his school that he was going to stay at. The coach leaves, the offensive coordinator leaves. He brings his quarterback. It only makes sense. Look, I firmly believe we'll have better quarterback play than we've had here in several years. That's my gut feeling. Take it for what it's worth.
It's worth a lot, Shane. You're a master of the position. You could teach a master class. You played it, and you taught it, and you coached it, and you know it. And we have to trust you because why? Because you have a track record. Look, I've never seen the guy play, so I don't know. But I'm going to trust that he knows. I trust the coaches, and I think we'll be able to trust Philo. I'm excited about it, and now. The big question, Shane, we talked about this on my show last night, you did, and I asked you why. Since I didn't see him, I don't know about these kind of things in terms of playing quarterback, and I'm not a coach. But I think this is critical in this offense with all the pre-snap motions, which is a lot. Number one, to get the timing down right, and it's critical to be able to get in a good play and out of a bad play. And the way I heard it explained by Sumrall is that he had some work to do in those areas. Is that the other kid Jones had some work to do in those areas, and that he felt like Fowler was up to that task. Is that what you got?
Well, yeah. I mean, I say it. I sound like a broken record, and people probably don't want to hear it, but
they want to hear it. Shane. You're the guy.
I said yesterday on the program, if you are a college quarterback on any roster in America, you can throw the football, right? Or you'd be playing another position.
You'd like to think.
But can you play But can you play quarterback?
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference. There's a difference between someone who can just actually throw the football and one who can play the position. That, as you stated, buddy, if it's motions. People use motions to get an advantage for the quarterback in his reads. When a guy goes in motion, the responsibilities of the defenders on defense changes. So they're having to think on the run, and sometimes you get guys wide open. You flood a zone. There's multiple things that you do when you have motion. So for your example, if you don't send the guy in motion, the damn play has no chance. So motions are part of it. You know, your protections. What are your heart reads? What are we trying to do? There's just so much that goes into it. People get too enamored with how far a guy can throw. I mean, I'm a broken record. The guys that are big, strong, and all that stuff that play for us or have played ain't very good or weren't very good. And I think we will be really good on offense if everything goes the way I think it will.
Good to know. Now we'll get the defense fixed. We'll see. I think you're right. And I don't know. I trust you because why? You've seen it. You know the position. And I'll be able to tell for myself down the line. But you know what these people do? And God bless them, because this is what keeps it going. The Gator Nation has a lot of experts, as you know, full of experts. And they want to tell you exactly the kind of formation. They want to tell you what the kind of patterns, what plays to call and when. And you know, and I know that one of the keys is getting the ball out on time and getting to the right colored jerseys, as you say. Chunk plays are big. And you've said numerous times on your broadcast, throw the damn ball down the field. Well, he's going to do that some. He said he's going to do that. But that doesn't mean he's going to get 40-yard chunk plays. But, boy, the receivers they got, we probably haven't talked enough about them. I think we won't be able to tell a lot the first two games, FAU, maybe a little. Campbell, no. When we get to Auburn, we'll find out how good these dudes are.
Yep. I think they're going to be very good on offense. Buddy, I'm getting a lot of comments regarding, and we talked about this on your show last night, and I read a little bit up on it, not a lot, about the kids from the NFL. You know, there's a handful of them that have an opportunity to go back and play college football.
I know you're very vociferously against it. I know that, and I'm against it.
I am. I definitely am, but I read more into it, and I don't know if it's correct or not. I can't remember where I read it, somewhere on Twitter. Who knows if it's true.
Oh, it must be right then.
These are kids that would not have probably put their name in the hat and gone into the draft or moved on out of college had they known they had a fifth year left. You know, it seems like every year there's some judge ruling saying these athletes get an extra year, a fifth year to participate. That's the case. I don't know what's going to happen. I still don't believe in kids going professionally and then going back. I don't think any of these guys were going to make the rosters anyway. But from what I read was they would have never left college had they known they had an extra year. Now, whose responsibility that is, I don't know why they didn't know that. So I don't think this is something that we have to worry about in the future, I hope. But maybe I read it wrong, and if somebody is more educated on the situation, they can let me know. But do you see what I'm saying? That makes a little more sense. I still don't agree with it, but because they're not those kids out of the group of people that I saw that were in this ruling, I don't think any of them are going to make an NFL roster.
Yeah, you could be right. I think one that really gets everybody upset is Piper. If he comes back and goes to LSU since he left Florida, and
he's an average player.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm just saying, I think because of the situation, he was a Gator and he kind of double crossed. But you know what? If your son was still playing football, and my son was playing football, and this came up, and he had an opportunity to walk on, or just say a free agent in the NFL, and he had a chance to go back to his school and get his education paid for another year and make money. What dad wouldn't tell him to go take it? It's not they're gaming the system. It's how the broken system has come to them. And you're right. I think this will be the last year. I know that the Coach Summerall said he wants to see the 5 for 5, 5 and 5, get it over with. I think you're right. I think it will be over after this year.
Let's hope so, because it's total nonsense. Somebody needs to start put their foot down and make a damn decision on this stuff.
Well, that's the problem, Shane. There is no somebody. We don't have any somebody. Won't be the damn NCAA, that's for sure.
Chris Cottondale wants to know why I didn't go to the open scrimmage to the alumni Saturday night. I was out of town at a speaking engagement. That's why. Had other stuff going on.
You're a busy man.
Well, this time of the year, there's no question. This text says Summerall's QB last year at Tulane didn't make the team until July 27th, came in from BYU. I think he's been dismissed from the team at BYU. Mm-hmm. Safe to say Summerall knows what he's doing. Yep, so does Buster.
I think he does, yeah. Shane, can I mention something that's important here? Your listeners and viewers stepped up big time. Remember we talked, I guess it was last week or week before, about the fact that I was told by an agent that no one wants to read books anymore. And they gave us sort of a no on our proposal for a book on Steve Spurrier's quarterbacks, which I know and you know is got good stuff. I know it's good because I know that the quarterbacks have been interviewed, and you're one of them, and that there's going to be good stuff in it. But do people even read anymore? The agent told me he couldn't get in the front door of any publisher with a Steve Spurrier book or any book about sports. That may be true. But I reached out and said, if you're interested, would you contact me? And I gave my email address, which, by the way, I will one more time, buddymartinshow@gmail.com. And I got to say, I was overwhelmed. I only mentioned it once. I'm going to say somewhere between 45 and 50 people reached out to me and said, yes, I want the book. So I want to publicly thank them, and we'll have the book. We're going to have some kind of book in about 6 months to 10 months, and we'll let you know and keep you in touch. But thank you very much to everybody, all you people out there who responded, and you give me faith that, yes, people can read and still do read something. And I can promise you the book will be great because Carlton Reese has gotten some of the material on the quarterbacks, including Shane. And Shane, you said you'd like to read it yourself.
Well, I'll read this book because I think a lot of people that aren't Gator fans or South Carolina or Duke fans, once they hear about the book and people have read it, they'll go buy it, buddy, because I don't think people understand the uniqueness of Steve Spurrier, how he coached. There's nobody else in the world that coaches the way he did. I would say players that play for him, that coach regardless of what level they're at now, coach like him and do his things. But there's never, I tell people, we didn't even have a playbook. We had sheets of white typing paper with his handwriting stapled together. That was our playbook.
I love that.
I don't think people understand the uniqueness of this human being, and he did it his own way, and that's the beauty of it. And we were fortunate to be able to play for the guy.
Shane, this is not in the book. He was fortunate to have you as a quarterback, and that's a good story how you all got together. But one of the great things, Spurrier had his own playbook, and it was somewhat primitive. And did you know he was still the only person in Sugar Bowl history as a losing player to win the MVP? And he did that in the Missouri game. They got beat in the Missouri game. And one reason they got beat in the Missouri game was that the defense of Missouri overshifted, and the offensive coordinators didn't shift the formation. In other words, if you got 11 guys on one side of the field, you know what you have to do. So he went to the bench finally in the fourth quarter, and Florida went down and scored 3 times, of course, and lost the game because they went for 2 every time and missed it. But the bottom line was he was calling his own plays and doing his own plays, and that's how he became famous for so-called making plays up with the dirt. But it was pretty simple to him. He looked at it, he saw it, and he said, "Let's do this," and it worked. That's kind of how his offense ran, right? He could look at it. He had the best ability to look at a game from the sideline after spending those years in the NFL on the sideline. What they did when you did it, they held clipboards, how they hold iPads, and he could see it so great from there. And that's why he was able to get in and out of plays so quick with Danny. Especially he could get in and out of a play. How was it for you, Shane? Could you get you in and out of a play real fast?
Yeah, but when I played, it was more my responsibility to get us in a good play. He kind of went to the look over to the sideline stuff after I graduated.
Okay.
But he has a special gift. It's all my, we all have great friends that are Gator fans, and I just wish we could have somebody to call plays like Steve Spurrier. It ain't ever going to happen, people.
No, it's not.
It ain't ever going to happen. It's not that easy. Ruse Ogre State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visitogreinsurance.com and learn more about their new office in Newberry, Florida. Where is I can't find the comment I wanted to read now. But anyway, it was talking about how many of these guys, when they come back to college, will be going to class. They got to enroll to be eligible. I think you still have to have 12 hours in a semester to be eligible to play whatever sport it is. That may have changed. I don't know. That's what it was. I graduated early. So my senior year, I had to go to grad school, and I had to have 12 hours of class. So I never, after that 12 hours, I never did anything towards that degree. I just did it to be eligible. But in today's world, there ain't a whole lot of coach.
Well, they have online classes. Online classes.
That's what I'm saying. No, but they're missing out on the college experience, walking across campus and going to it's a different world. We talk about it daily on this program. It's a different world.
The ship has sailed for sure. That's right. Hey, Shane, do you know anything about Joe Craddock?
I do know about Joe Craddock.
I'm doing a story on him. I got to give the Gainesville Sun credit. He had a nice story, and I've all followed it up and the deep dive on him. For Gator fans who don't know, he's the guy who he coaches the quarterbacks, and he idolizes Steve Spurrier. He wore around a Gator hat with a Nike hat with an F on it when he grew up in Birmingham, right near Birmingham, there, and it got a lot of crap for it. And he coached around. Now he's coaching right there with Coach Spurrier's son. He's an interesting guy. I've got a piece on him coming out in Gator Bay here next couple of days. He grew up in Chelsea, Alabama, just north of Birmingham, in an all-blue Nike hat with an orange F stitched on the front. He had some good times. By the way, you know where Chelsea is? Shelby County, north part of Birmingham. Yeah.
North Birmingham.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Joe, here's another little bit. I don't know if it was in that piece or not. He played quarterback at, I believe, Middle Tennessee State.
That's correct.
His offensive coordinator and quarterback coach was a guy named G.A. Mangus, who was one of my backups here, who coached
South Carolina
for many years.
Remember?
So he has a lot of ties, but he's an up and comer. People very well respected around the country. And I believe if we lose Buster Faulkner in a year or two, which I think we will, to a head coaching job, Joe Craddock will probably be our OC in my opinion.
Interesting, really. Okay, here's a great quote, one you should have on your wall. His quote, and it was in the Sun, I'll give them credit for this. Playing quarterback at the University of Florida is a big freaking deal. You got to love that quote, right?
Well, it's a fact. I mean, playing quarterback at any major college is a big deal. But I think when you go back and you look from, the Spurrier era to Urban's era, you were under the spotlight if you were the QB. No question about that.
He says, I always tell my quarterbacks this is a privilege, not a right.
Yep, no doubt. We got a text here, buddy, believe it or not, from James on the Titanamore text line. Wants to know, how is your Gator bait, bring back Gator bait chant going?
Okay, I don't know if we're allowed to say this or not, but we got some news coming up on that, where there'll be some merchandise that will say, have Gator bait on it, which we hope the president will come out for it, but if he doesn't, we're still going to have it. We're fighting. Frank Shane, you're helping me. I appreciate that. And maybe by next week, we'll have some news on that, how you can get involved. It's a struggle because I'm not getting a whole lot of support from the administration. I got a great letter somebody wrote on my behalf and sent it to me and says, send this to the president, Stuart Bell. And I did. I took it and I changed it and I plagiarized it. And it was about why we love Gator bait. And I sent it to the president. He's got a few other things to deal with right now, but I'm hopeful that soon we'll be able to hear about it, and we'll have some news on that. I'd love to you said you'd help me get a hold of the president, so I'm expecting you to call him up for me.
Well, I don't know if I said that. I said you should. I haven't met the president. He wouldn't know me if I walked into his office.
Shane, everybody knows you. You're famous, Shane. You're famous.
No, I don't know about that, buddy. Daniel says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law, let's just give the college kids 20 years eligibility and turn the NFL into the football version of the PGA Champions Tour.
That's something.
40 and up can play in the NFL.
Oh, boy.
I like that.
Senior division. I like that, too. So this thing has got to get straightened out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Franklin says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Shane, what do you think about Summerall's mock game approach? Do any other coaches do that? Yeah, everybody does it.
Yeah.
Everybody goes through a mock game. Bruce says Gator bait is racist, buddy. I did research on it. No, it's not. It's not.
Okay. Well, see, that's the kind of comments. No proof.
That's
no
fine.
None. I mean, I'm not going to debate that again. We've done it through before. You believe in a myth, a story. I don't know where that, I know where it came from, but we're telling you, I lived it. I can tell you that when it started, it had zero to do with anything racist. Now, for people who attach that to whatever that story is about, that's on you. Never was said with any racist intent, and I've been hearing it since 1950. So it's been around, and that never came up in anybody's thought, I guarantee you. So it's comments like that throw me off. Like I had a guy last night, Bruce, on the show, who said, well, Philo had a deal in advance. He was going to be the starting quarterback. No, he did not.
No, he didn't.
No, I see. People have these knee-jerk reactions. They think they know, and they don't know. It's what drives me crazy about people in Urban. If you don't like Urban Meyer and you're mad at him and he did whatever, that's fine. But don't start making up crap and start saying things that you don't have any proof of. None. Zero. So, and it reminds me of some of the callers on Feinbaum yesterday. One guy from Auburn calls up and says, Florida plays these cupcake games. Florida's a cupcake. Florida is a cupcake? This coming from an Auburn fan? I mean, come on, people. Get a grip on reality.
Florida Cracker is the brand for original Floridians. Great food and southern hospitality. Visit us in Brooksville, Florida. Visit Florida Cracker Oyster Bar in Keystone Heights. Buddy, what you got on the program tonight?
Well, I'm going to mention two things. Number one, I'm going to mention that Ben Troop is going to be on tonight with Lauren Meadows on the Buddy Martin Show at 9 o'clock. We could watch for perhaps a changing schedule. We may shift some of our shows to the morning following the Shane Matthews show, PodUp Matthews. So watch for that. And I want to say I'm really proud. We're going to start back with the best Fridays in football a week from Friday. And this lineup of people we got committed. Urban Meyer, Laura Rutledge, and Lauren Smith. Pretty good little lineup starting there, huh?
Yeah, ain't bad. Ain't bad at all. Real quick, buddy. I know you talk to Urban quite a bit, and we know he really likes John Summerall.
Mm-hmm.
Have you asked him, like, his thoughts on this upcoming season, what he thinks the Gators will do?
Yeah, well, kind of. And we'll talk about it again in a couple of weeks. He's very positive. He didn't give me a number, but he likes very much his style of coaching. He likes who he is, what you're. And I asked him about the story that when it was going around that Urban said, I felt like I was talking to me, the guy that he reminds me of me, that he likes the toughness, the bloody Tuesdays that he used to have. He felt like his coaching philosophy. He said, no. I never said that. He said, that's what people told me. So I want to clarify that he never said that. But no, I think Shane, I got to tell you, I don't want to get over our skis right on this. I want to be very careful because there's a temptation to get all lit up and say, hey, look, man, this team's going to win 10. And maybe they will. But right now, I got to be honest, I'm trending toward going on the under on 8 wins. I cannot find that 8th win anywhere I'm looking. Now, that's why Auburn's such an important game. It's become a critical game. So it's going to be tough. But 7, yes, I think the program is on the way up. And in time, he'll get there.
You know, it's interesting because I think I saw one of Urban's somewhere, a clip on Twitter or whatever, during somebody's interview. You know, he said one of the biggest regrets in his life was leaving Florida.
Yeah, that was Steve Harris.
I think Coach Spurrier would probably tell you that as well.
He did
Florida,
tell me. He told me that. He told me that already. Made a mistake.
And what's crazy is I saw a clip from Nick Saban saying his biggest regret was leaving LSU to go to the Dolphins. So it's really bizarre when you look back at some of these coaches' careers, what they should have done, what they did do, or things of that nature. So
I've also read that,
as always, my friend.
Yeah, I just want to say real quick, thank you. And I was going to say that one of the things I read was that Saban claims he didn't know until he got into the final press conference for sure if he was going to say goodbye, quit or not. He made up his mind right then and there. But anyway, there's a lot of regrets. You got a good thing going. You want to try to stay with it as much as possible. Shane, thank you. Have a good show with Mike, and I'll talk to you soon. But next week we'll have some hopefully news about Gator Bait merchandise.
There you go. That is Buddy Martin from the Buddy Martin Show, also Gator Bait Media. Join us on the Titan More Hotline. Quick timeout. Come back. We'll be joined by the SEC Network's Mike Morgan. You're watching and listening to PodUp Matthews in the Morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. Be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Atlantic Roofing, Campus USA Credit Union, International Diamond Center, J.F. Hayden's Craft Liqueurs, Los Landeros Tequila, Meldon Law, Titan MRI and Imaging, Castaway Sauce, UF Health Orthopedics, Michael Schneider PLLC, Florida Legends Gala and Experience, Money Metals, Sensei Asian Bistro. Our gridiron sponsors are Baker Sports, Florida Cracker Oyster, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, McDonald's of Gainesville, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, International Gold and Diamond, Advocare, and MGA Wealth. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook or YouTube. Listen to podcasts wherever, on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And to advertise, be sure to call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
Naysayers. Setbacks. Injuries. Life throws a lot of hurdles your way. The key is just keep jumping them.
The jewelry store with the most likes, the most positive reviews, the most raving fans is International Diamond Center.
IDC is definitely a place that I will come to as long as I live here. This will be my go-to place always.
Literally the best jewelry store in town. You'll make friends for life coming in here. I felt like family from the beginning. The value was extraordinary.
I've got a beautiful diamond on my finger, and I'm very proud of it.
International Diamond Center.
I'm very happy to show it off.
At Celebration Point and online at shopidc.com.
Recent price spikes in groceries, healthcare, gasoline, steel, and lumber tell the story of inflation. As the reality of all this inflation sinks in, investors will be acting quickly to diversify and protect themselves, their families, and their assets. Low transaction costs are one reason Investopedia calls Money Metals the best dealer in America. Don't waste any more time. Start protecting your savings today with physical precious metals at moneymetals.com/go.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. Real estate attorney Michael Schneider can help you save thousands in real estate commissions, whether you are selling or buying. He also provides buyer representation. Michael will watch out for your best interest. Learn more at maschneiderpllc.com. Back to the Take No More hotline. Our man Mike Morgan from the SEC Network joins us now. Good morning, Mike. How are you?
I am well, Shane. Enjoyed your conversation with Buddy and just getting going this morning. Got your segment and then college football podcast coming up later this morning with Brad Crawford of CBS Sports. And we're getting at the point now, it's not just talking season, it's like talking with actual news season. So it's the next best thing we can have without the games being played, which of course will start this weekend with week 0, which I think is going to be the new week 1. I think this whole calendar is going to start earlier, which I don't know many people that are going to complain about that, Shane, because I don't know many people this time of the year that go, I'm just not ready for college football to start. I wish we could back it up another couple weeks.
Right. All right. So let's start first. The Gators, John Summerall announced yesterday Aaron Follow will be the starting quarterback against FAU. Just your thoughts on that. Surprised, not surprised?
Well, look, I follow your lead on anything that is Gator quarterbacks, right? So like I'm on a couple other shows and I've been kind of predicting who I think we basically have 5 quarterback races in the SEC and 4 have already been determined. The only one left is Vanderbilt. And I think Curtis gets the nod there. So that would make me 5 for 5 if that comes to fruition. But no, I mean, I followed your logic on that one because we don't have much to go on with Aaron Philo. He hadn't thrown a ton of passes. He came from a place where Haynes King was the show. But as you pointed out a number of times, and I actually was talking about this on a different show yesterday, talking about all the different OCs this year in the Southeastern Conference, because we've had a major overhaul, but not just head coaches, but OCs. Buster Faulkner, if you go back and break down his offenses and what he did as the quarterback coach, for example, at Georgia with Stetson Bennett, which I think is a big reason why his stock rose because of the job he did there. They are not going to run what Georgia Tech ran, which was a lot of Haynes, make a play, right? It was a lot of like draw it up in the dirt, and you had this really good competitor who I hope makes an NFL roster. He played well the other day at a preseason game. I think now you're going to see Florida's offense, especially with the talent on the outside, and a great back to complement it all, which is what, if you go back and look at, for example, Steve Spurrier's best teams, he had that, whether it was Eric Red or Fred Taylor or whomever. I think you're going to start seeing the Florida offense look like what so many people used to see and want to see again. And Philo gives you a chance to do that in the immediate. He already knows the offense, so he's got a leg up there. And I don't think they're going to ask him to do too much, because you do have a guy that's, I think, Ball will be 1,000-yard rusher. But I think they have enough confidence that he can make a lot of the throws that you would expect a quarterback at this level to make. A lot of the throws that, for whatever reasons, DJ Lagway did not make last season.
Yeah, speaking of quarterbacks, and just nationally, pretty good text here from Rick in Jupiter, if I can pull it back up. He says, as we go into the season, I wanted to know which QBs you are really looking forward to see play. For me, it's Mensa, CJ Carr, Notre Dame, and Mestamaker from Oklahoma State. I would have to agree with all three of those. I think CJ Carr is going to be a star at Notre Dame. I'm anxious to see the step. I think I'm pronouncing it right. Mestamaker, who went from North Texas to Oklahoma State, because he's only played quarterback in his life like 2 or 3 years. Big, tall guy. But Eric Morris, I think, is a really good football coach. That's going to be interesting to see how they do playing big boy football now.
Was that Rick? First of all, Rick, you're living right if you're living in Jupiter, Florida. Good for you. You mean you're living in Jupiter and you're listening to Shane Matthews in the morning. You're living your best life. I'm just happy to be a part of it in some small respect. I love all three of those names. And Mestamaker is the most intriguing because go back and look at the numbers. They were insanely good. And so it's almost like a package deal. He and Coach Morris go to Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State was a train wreck. The Gundy deal just completely ran its course, whether it was the portal, whether it was just a guy staying at his alma mater too long, whatever it was. So is Oklahoma State worth a damn this year? And how does Mestamaker's talent translate? I have no idea off the top of my head what kind of wide receivers he has. Not a clue. So I can't tell you if he's got a lot of weapons to work with, but I'm like you, I'm very fascinated as to how that will translate. Yeah, Carr at Notre Dame. Notre Dame barely plays anybody. I mean, their schedule is such a cakewalk. If they want to, I mean, he could really run up a bunch of numbers, but that's not their MO. They love to run the ball. And last year they had a super stud back that could do it as well as anybody. They really had two. Who was the third quarterback you mentioned in that group? Oh, Mensa.
Mensa.
Yeah, I mean, Miami's friggin' loaded. I'm not sure if there's a more talented team in the country than Miami. That's not going to be a popular statement on this show, but they have opened up the pocketbooks there, and they buy themselves the best transfer quarterback on the market year in, year out. But they also buy people in the trenches. And that's where Miami was so good last year. I don't think there was a better team in the country on the line of scrimmage than Miami. And I think they're pretty good there as well. And they have the best wide receiver perhaps in the country, not named Jeremiah Smith. So I like all three of those choices. There's quarterbacks. Look, I'm going to be very interested to see Arch Manning. What's the next level of evolution of his game? Because he started off slow. They had no run game. They had a leaky offensive line. And then he was great against Oklahoma. He was great against A&M. They could have easily been a playoff team. But does he make the next level? And I'll throw one other name out there because it's going to be the most fascinating team in college football and the most vilified. And that's LSU and their quarterback, Sam Leavitt. Sam Leavitt at Arizona State was a good quarterback before he's got that Liz Frank injury. I never knew Liz, but man, she's really got it up against particular men's feet. But if he is healthy, which they say he is, Sam Leavitt is a guy that could certainly could put up a lot of numbers in Baton Rouge with Lane Kiffin's offense. I think there's a ton of great quarterback stories this year. And I'll throw one more in there. What does Byron Brown, speaking of Gator opponents, what does he look like at Auburn as opposed to what he did at USF? It's so easy to lose sight of the fact. Go back and look at his numbers. Look, USF is not, again, it's not the SEC, but it's not the MAC either. I mean, he did play some quality opponents, including Florida. Does that translate as well this year for an Auburn program that's desperate to turn it around? I think there's a lot of those type of stories out there.
Yeah, I'm not a Byron Brown guy. I think if you have integrity in your rush lanes and make him throw the football, I think he hurts you more running it. I just think he's got a bad release. I could eat crow. We'll see. And don't forget Darian Mensa. That was John Sumrall's guy. Recruited him, played him, and then he lost him to the portal. That's what's going to happen. I do agree. I do think Sam Levitt's going to have a big year because I mentioned this the other day. Regardless of what you think of Lane and everything, I think he's a damn good coach on game day. All the other stuff is crazy. But between him and Charlie Weiss, ever since they did the coach to quarterback communication, the green dot, their teams have scored more points than anybody and had more yards than anybody.
Yeah.
So take that for what it's worth.
And what the green dot, help me out again on that. You have to stop communications with 15 on the play clock?
Yeah, so it's just like the NFL. As soon as the ball is spotted, the 40-second play clock starts, so you can talk. Think about if you're a fast tempo team, you have 25 seconds to say, hey, here's the play. If they give you this, don't forget, here's your hot route. I mean, that's what they communicate and give the quarterback tips.
Right.
And then once it hits 15, it cuts off.
Yep.
So you could tell the guy a lot. The problem is the quarterback can't communicate back to you.
Right.
But you can be in his ear up to 15 seconds.
Could you imagine if you had that with Steve? I mean, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Could you imagine if you had that with Steve Spurrier?
Oh, it was great, but it was a disaster in the NFL because coach is not technically he's bad with technology, as I am. So there's a button you push to talk to the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is coach never took his finger off the button. So even when it cuts off at 15, but let's just say he gives you the play quickly. And, we're huddling in the NFL, so I'm trying to call the play, but I hear everything coach is saying to whoever's in the box, to the players on the sideline. It was chaos.
Oh,
I'd be like, coach, you got to, we come off after the series, coach, you got to take your finger off the button. Like, yeah, I'm trying.
Oh, that's so distracting. In TV, every now and then you have that where a director leaves his button pushed in. You're trying to call the play, 3rd down and 7, trip to the left side. But I know you hear the director, ready, camera 2, take 2. No, camera 4, take 4, take. And you're like, whoa. Like, it's the most distracting thing you could possibly think of.
Yeah, you're on national TV, but then try doing that with 300-pounders coming at you and you're trying to make a decision what to do.
Slightly different issue.
Yeah. I want to get your thoughts on what's going on. I mean, it seems like every time we have you on, Mike, which is once a week, there's something new out there. Now it's about guys in training camp going back to college football. Your thoughts?
I think we've truly jumped the shark on just trying to prove how lawless, how reckless we now are in college athletics. We got a taste of this during basketball season with the Bediako case at Alabama. And eventually, of course, he had to not play, not suit up. Now we're doing it in football. Guys that are in training camp, and you do get paid when you're at training camp. So, we used to suspend guys if they got an extra peanut butter sandwich from a booster. Now we're allowing guys that are playing in preseason games, earning money, professional money, and we're saying, go ahead and either quit or get cut and then wind up on a roster and play in a college football game 2 weeks later. I can't even find words to describe how many things are wrong with that, Shane. Even if you were the most liberal of thinkers and it's a different era and everybody's getting paid, and that's a good thing. At some point, you have to say and pump the brakes and say, this is insane. And that's basically what Greg Sankey has done and basically tried to deter through his words. And the SEC, I don't know if you saw it yesterday, Shane, they came out with a press release basically saying, this is not good. But what it doesn't say in there is, this is what will happen if you play these guys. So obviously Lane and LSU and others are taking their own risk and saying, hey, there's nothing specifically in the rules that says we can't do this, so we're going to do it. I think it's ridiculous, but it's so 2026 college football.
So, again, I haven't kept up with it closely, but the only team I've heard that's even talking about players going to is LSU. Have you heard any other players going somewhere else?
No. I've heard of other players that are considering other places. Uh, for example, South Carolina had a safety, DQ Smith, who was a 4-year starter, gets cut, and he wanted to go back, I think, to South Carolina. They said, no, we're good. So he's out there looking. There are other players looking to go somewhere else besides LSU. I just don't know if there are other programs taking them in. And the only reason it's not because they have great moral or ethical character. I have to believe that some of these programs are worried that there'll be repercussions for taking somebody off the waiver wire, if you will, from the NFL. So I don't know if this is going to become a trend or if it's still so nebulous as to what the ruling is here that some coaches will be like, I don't think we should do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a bizarre situation. This text on the Titan of our text line says, "Good morning, Shane. People are expecting Faulkner to run the same thing you did at Georgia Tech, but we're going to look like the offense that Arkansas State had when he was there, in my opinion." I agree. I have said from day one when Buster Faulkner was hired, and most people think because we have Jaden Ball, which we can agree he's a damn good running back, this dude wants to throw the football. We're gonna throw it more than people think, is my thoughts.
I totally agree.
And I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
I don't know many Florida fans that are not all for it. At least the ones that are old enough to remember Steve Spurrier's 12 years in Gainesville. That to me is still woven in the fabric of what Florida football is, which is a team that can go out there and throw on anybody and have, I mentioned on your show a couple of weeks ago, the lack of a 1,000-yard receiver in forever. That's just something I never thought I would see in Gainesville, where you don't have that anymore. I mean, I think one year you had Ike Hilliard and Riddell Anthony over 1,000. You had two guys. For 20 years or whatever it's been, you haven't had one guy reach 1,000. And quite frankly, I'm not sure how many have even been that close. So at some point, yeah, I just think there's certain programs that have certain DNA, and Florida's is to be a team that can beat you with an aerial assault. And that has clearly been lacking, and there's 27 different reasons as to why. But I think Buster Faulkner takes this job and says, and I'm sure there have been a number of boosters or people on the board or whoever that go into all these decision-making processes of who to hire and who not to hire. Somewhere along the line, somebody has said in his ear, I'd really like to get back to what we used to do, throwing the football. I'm sure that has been registered into Buster Faulkner's brain. And yes, before he ever got to Georgia Tech, he had offenses that threw it often and threw it successfully. And I mentioned, again, even the Georgia example, even though we associate Kirby's offenses with kind of ground and pound, go back and look at Stetson Bennett's numbers as a passer. They're pretty damn good. Pretty damn good when he was the quarterback coach.
And here's the thing is, like I tell people, I don't know how excited Georgia fans were when Stetson Bennett was named the starter, or he came off the bench that one game, and then they went with him because he's a walk-on. He's a small dude. He ain't got a great arm, but you know what? He knows how to play quarterback, which is more important than anything. Atlantic Roofing, your roofing experts for residential, commercial roofing with more than 50 years of local experience. Real quick there, everybody's talking about as long as Philo takes care of the ball. I'm going to tell you right now, he's going to throw interceptions, and they're going to keep him in there because they've already commented that our guys are going to throw picks, but we're going to stick with them unless they throw 5 picks. We're going to turn the ball over, just so y'all know that. We did it a lot under Steve Spurrier. It happens. Under Urban, we turned it over. But anyway, before we get you out of here, Mike, I wanted to get AMAC on YouTube. Speaking of Stetson Bennett, says, should the Falcons trade Stetson Bennett to bring Georgia's favorite son home and shore up their QB situation?
Okay, I just followed all those steps. I'm going to give you a name, Shane. And I think I'm one of the few people on the planet that knew this name before he lit up a preseason game the other night, because I did the American Bowl on NFL Network, and that's like a college all-star game, but it doesn't have quite the talent that the Senior Bowl has. Jack Strand, who played for Division II Minnesota Moorhead. He's big, he's strong, he's athletic. We talked to him pregame, very smart, and he's become like an instant fan favorite in Atlanta. So the talk is whether or not they'll keep a roster spot for him. I don't think the Falcons quite honestly care about the Georgia bringing home the prodigal son and Stetson Bennett. I think they're just trying to win games over there. They've been a bit of a train wreck organization for a while now. So no, I don't. I think right now the question is whether or not the Strand kid, if they keep him, or somebody else will pick him up if they don't.
Interesting. Well, Mike, good stuff as always. It's close. We get ball this week. We'll have something to talk about, what we saw, and then getting ready for the Gators and the other SEC teams next week. Appreciate your time, my man. We'll talk to you next week.
Enjoyed it, Shane. Thank you much.
That's Mike Morgan joining us on the Titan and More Hotline. The Pouncey twins, Mike and Marquise, invite you to try the Mango Martinis at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Handcrafted for the J.F. Hayden liqueurs. Try those flavors or find your favorite at shop.jfhaydens.com. Thanks for everybody tuning in today. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a great day, folks. See you then.